Hi, I'm Brittany. Welcome to the Lesbian Agenda. I'm all about digging into sapphic history, culture, and representation, so everyone can see themselves in our community's shared history. Today, I'm going to talk about the lesbian history, meanings, and types of flags. So let's dive into the fascinating and sometimes messy history of lesbian flags. It's important to start by saying there's no single universally accepted lesbian flag. Different communities have gravitated toward different designs, but these days, the most commonly used versions are the 7-stripe and the 5-stripe sunset flags. And of course, the journey to these flags has been, well, not without its twists and turns.
One of the earliest lesbian symbols, dating back to the 1970s, was the Labrys Flag. The Labrys itself is a double-headed axe that has roots in ancient Minoan culture, where it was often associated with matriarchal societies and female empowerment. It was adopted by some feminists and lesbians as a symbol of strength, independence, and resistance against oppression. The Labrys Flag features this iconic symbol on a purple background with an inverted black triangle. The upside-down triangle was reclaimed from its use by the Nazis to mark lesbians and during World War II, turning it into a symbol of resilience and solidarity.
While the Labrys flag is still recognized by some, it's not as commonly used today. Over time, new designs emerged, each with its own story. For example, there was the infamous lipstick lesbian flag. If you've never heard of it or just blocked it out, this flag came about in the early 2000s and was created by an artist with, let's call them, very questionable views.
It was a pink and red gradient flag that included a kiss mark in the corner. The idea was to celebrate femme lesbians, but it had some serious baggage. For one, it played off outdated stereotypes, reducing lesbian identity to hyper-feminine aesthetics often associated with pornographic depictions of women having sex, but it was made for male consumption. On top of that, the creator's personal blog contained racist, biphobic, and transphobic content, which understandably tainted the meaning of the lipstick lesbian flag. So, yeah, most of us don't go there. Not long after, a pink lesbian flag was introduced. This one was meant to be more inclusive, ditching the kiss mark and sticking to a simple pink gradient. However, it turned out that this flag was also created by the same artist responsible for the lipstick lesbian flag. And while it looked cleaner, it still excluded key parts of the community, particularly people of color, bisexuals, and trans lesbians.
That brings us to the more widely accepted designs today, like the 7-stripe and 5-stripe sunset flags. These were designed by Emily Gwen in 2018 with inclusion and diversity at their core. They're not perfect, what flag really is, but they've become some of the most recognizable and well-loved symbols of the lesbian community. So let's take a closer look at what these colors actually stand for. The 7-stripe sunset flag is one of the most widely recognized lesbian flags today, and each stripe was thoughtfully chosen to represent a different part of lesbian identity. And honestly, when you dig into the meanings, it makes the flag feel like a love letter to the diversity of our community.
Starting at the top, we have dark orange. This stripe represents gender nonconformity, aka those of us who push back against traditional gender expectations or express ourselves outside the binary. Then there's orange, which stands for independence. It's a reminder of the strength it takes to embrace who you are, especially when the world isn't always on your side. Light orange comes next, representing community. This one is so important because, let's face it, being part of a supportive lesbian network can change everything. White is in the middle of the flag, symbolizing unique relationships to womanhood. Not all lesbians relate to womanhood in the same way, and this stripe reflects that diversity. Then we have pink, which stands for serenity and peace, because we all deserve a moment to breathe and just be. Dusty pink follows, representing love, passion, desire. Finally, at the bottom, there's dark rose. This stripe honors femininity and the many ways lesbians embody and celebrate feminine energy.
I love how every color is doing some serious heavy lifting here. Each stripe is a tribute to a different piece of the lesbian experience. How we see ourselves, how we connect with others, and how we move through the world. This flag isn't just a symbol, it's a story, a history, a collective identity. So when you look at this flag, you're not just seeing a pretty gradient. You're seeing the vibrant, complex, and beautiful tapestry of the lesbian community. And to me, that's what makes it so powerful. It's not just about waving something colorful, it's about saying this is who we are. These are the values we stand for, and we're proud of every stripe. So whether you fly the sunset flag, appreciate the history of the Labrys, or even create your own design, what matters is that you feel represented. There's no one way to be a lesbian, and there's no one flag to rule them all. It's all about showing your pride in a way that feels authentic to you. If you like this deep dive, show it some love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the Lesbian Agenda, and drop a comment telling me which flag speaks to your soul. And if you're craving more resources, stories, and unapologetically queer content, check out my Linktree. I've got free downloads, resources, and I've linked my lesbian dating guide, a free ebook download. Because no one gave us a roadmap, I made one. Whether you're newly out, still figuring it out, or just vibing in the community, I got you covered. That's it for today's lesson. Stay proud, stay loud, and I'll see you next time on the Lesbian Agenda.